Hi, so a bit of a different thing for me here today. I'm going to do my AEW Collision predictions now instead of tomorrow where I normally do them a few hours before the show starts. The reason for this is tomorrow it is in Cardiff and I will be attending. I cannot wait. I'm going to try and make some cooler videos, and for people who care, thank you. If people who don't, whatever. But yeah, I'm just going to do what's announced so far, and then obviously I can go over what's announced after this in the review that I do eventually. So there's no real order to what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to start off with one of the things that we know, which is the women's tag match between Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter versus the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I don't know how this match goes. I think it really doesn't matter. I feel like if Statlander and Hayter win, we set up the eventual title match, which could make sense if they do a title match at Holiday Bash, which will be in Manchester, being Hayter, home country, versus Stat. That could make sense. But the thing is with the Sisters of Sin, they obviously, they're a good tag team and stuff, but they have the advantage of Tekla is probably going to get involved in some way. I think it's hard to call because I feel like if they get a third, it's very hard to call who's going to help Statlander and Hayter. But the thing is, Statlander and Hayter are strong enough to kind of battle off a third, but that third being Tekla is such a high-level wrestler, you don't really want to get rid of that. Depends who it is. They could have Harley come down, but I doubt it. You could get Tay Mello and Anna Jay come down, maybe, because that's how this angle originally started with Tay Mello. It could go either way. I feel like the option of them two winning after antics from Tekla is still fun, and then you can still have a match with the Holiday Bash being in the UK, but I feel like they kind of have a bit more build for that, so I'm not really sure. I think it's definitely plausible each way. I think it'll be a good match. I'm very excited to see Statlander and Hayter team, and I'm just a fan of Jamie Hayter anyway, as people know, and obviously Statlander. I'm looking forward to seeing Sky Blue go against Jamie Hayter. I just think that's a fun matchup. We've seen that a few times, but I don't know why, just in this match, it'll be great. Honestly, I think this will be a really fun match, and either way, I think both outcomes are really plausible. It's kind of a whatever, but they did obviously, say that the next thing for Hayter will be the championship challenge against Statlander, so let's kind of get that ball moving for me, please, just for me. Next, we have the TNT title match from champion Mark Briscoe versus Danny Garcia. Now, I think this would be insane for Briscoe to lose. I think it's his first defense. As much as I'd love Danny Garcia to win the TNT belt again, and he has to in his future 100%, I feel like this match has to have Briscoe win. I think it will have Briscoe win. I think Desperato's will obviously have some interference, but then the conglomeration obviously are there, and they've got Briscoe's back. Maybe not Kyle O'Reilly, but, maybe obviously Orange Cassidy. Doubt hologram, because I think he's still out. If Ishii's there, I'd scream my little head off. But, people like that, maybe Willow, but I doubt it. Dorado was there. Get my glorious king in front of my eyeballs. Oh my god, if I get to see Mascara Dorado live in Cardiff, I will not shut up about. I'll make a separate video about that. I'll be glazing that man beyond comprehension. I think Briscoe wins. I think Briscoe does win. I think there is some Desperato's antics, but I think he prevails. I think a good way to go for this could be if Moxley appears to help Garcia, but still messes that up, teasing Garcia to lose faith in Moxley. Maybe you go down that route with each member losing, their own faith in Moxley, regardless of the results. That could be an interesting way. But I think Garcia will lose this, and yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Garcia can handle a loss like this. It's just, one, you got to get Briscoe's first defense out the way, but also, let's just not write Danny Garcia off for the TNT belt in the future, but now, I wouldn't be against him being the one who takes it off Mark eventually. But I think now is obviously, let Mark have a reign, because this could be a really good reign for Mark Briscoe. I think he retains. Now, the most recently announced match of the night could possibly be one of the best matches of the year this late on. Kevin Knight versus Speedball Mike Bailey in the Continental Classic Gold League. Both guys on 3 points. Both guys having possible, in my opinion, the top 2 matches of the tournament so far against the same opponents and Kyle Fletcher. This match is gonna be incredible. I cannot wait. I don't know who they give it to. I feel like a draw. We haven't had a draw yet in the Continental Classic. That's very interesting. I feel like this could be a good call. I think this match is going to be insanely quick. I think the match speed, obviously, Speedball and Kevin Knight, so similar. Tag team, jet speed, obviously. Everything about it. This could be incredible. I'm really, really looking forward to this. This Cardiff Collision card already looks incredible, and I assume we're going to get some more stuff announced. But specifically, the Continental Classic matches are some insanely anticipated ones, as most are. But these so far, these 2, oh my word, this could possibly be match of the tournament. That's how good it is. I don't think it will. I think there's a match later on, but we'll get to that eventually one day, hopefully. But this, I think, I cannot wait. This is possibly my most anticipated match of the night. This or the next one. The result for this one, I think it will be a draw. I think that makes sense, have the tag teams, stuff like that. You could maybe plan stuff for, a heel turn, specifically for Speedball, because my friend Bishop has told me specifically, Speedball as a heel is despicable. And we've seen a match together with Speedball being heel, and yeah, I agree, he is a demon. And so it kind of makes sense, and they want to push Kevin Knight, which I'm all for, definitely. But a draw, I think, is a good result, but you could possibly lay some seeds for the future for these 2. Now, the second Continental Classic match is in the Blue League. I cannot believe I get to see this live. Claudio Castagnoli versus Konosuke Takeshita. What the hell? I cannot believe it. Oh my god. Takeshita, I think Takeshita wins. The shock upset for Claudio would be incredible. I'd love that. I think that would be excellent, and I don't think that's off the cards. I think these 2, oh my god, the Moxley match with Takeshita last week was incredible. And for me, Takeshita's one of the best in the world. Obviously, and Claudio's on like an insane one at the minute. This could be it. I feel like, I don't think Claudio wins out the question. I feel like the fact that Takeshita beat Moxley, and you have, if Claudio beats Takeshita, Takeshita hasn't got a loss in the Continental Classic, I'm not sure yet. Takeshita's on 6 points already, beating Jon Moxley and Roderick Strong. So I'm not against Takeshita losing here, but I think either way, this works. Takeshita, for me, has to win most matches. So, and against Claudio is no real mark against him if he loses, and if it favors progresses the Death Rider stuff. Either way, I think this match is going to be incredible. I really cannot wait for this. I really enjoy whatever both guys are doing this year, especially on TV. So everything about this, and they're clearly setting up in a way a Death Riders and Don Callis family situation. Feud or not, definitely not, maybe, but I think this will obviously plant the seeds for that. But Takeshita versus Claudio Castagnoli, oh my word, that is incredible. That is a main event if I've ever seen one. I think it will be, unless it is the last match we have got to talk about, which is Swerve Strickland versus Josh Alexander. This is obviously a bleed over from Dynamite, last week's Collision where Swerve spoke and Josh Alexander called him out. This could be a phenomenal match. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of Josh Alexander this year. I think he's a very underrated talent in terms of the grand scheme of things of AEW. I think he's so consistent. And I think Swerve, obviously everyone knows how good Swerve is. I think this could be fun. I think this could possibly be the opener. I don't think it should be the main event unless something happens at the end, which we could get a Hangman situation. You never know. Stuff like that. You could maybe set something up with the Don Callis family getting involved after it, to then maybe you set something up with Swerve and Okada to run that back. Obviously, their last match was a Forbidden Door, and then Swerve went away for injury. Or you have the Don Callis family intervene, Swerve, Hangman come out, but they're still overran. Boom, the Elite. That could work maybe, but you've got the Elite fighting midweek, so it's kind of hard to predict that one. But either way, this match should be excellent. I don't think it should be the main event. I don't think that's really necessary. Personally, I think it should be Claudio and Takeshita. I think that's probably the most anticipated match in terms of stakes-wise. In ring-wise, it's probably, for me personally, 9 jet speeds match against each other. So, either way, point is, this card is stacked already, and I assume there'll be something else announced. So, AEW Cardiff should be incredible. Big fan of Collision the last few weeks. I think the matches have been impeccable. The thing is with Collision for me, I really enjoy Collision as of late. I really do. But there's a lot of times where it's just kind of, okay, let's just throw it at the wall. And it hasn't been like that recently. So, touch wood, it doesn't happen while I'm there, because I will be upset. Do I think anything will happen else that hasn't been announced? Like, backstage stuff? I think we will get something with I think we might get an MXM Open Challenge, actually. That could be fun. They're normally a staple of Collision nowadays. You could get something to do with FTR and the Bang Bang Gang. I feel like I'm one of the only people who's ridiculously excited for that. So I really am. I think that could be good. We haven't seen Brodito in a week, so that could... I miss my Glorious King. And... give me Dorada. Give me that live. I need it. I need that, please. I'm begging for that. It's all, the card's stacked, and I don't want to sound ungrateful. 100%. Give me Dorada. I need it. I'm begging you. I love that. I love him. He's the best. He's not the best, but he's phenomenal. And I can imagine seeing Dorada live will blow my little brain. Are any of you going to Collision in Cardiff tomorrow? And if so, drop a comment. We can see, talk about the show and just, be respectful and have a nice time. But yeah, if you're going, enjoy it, be safe. And if not, let me know what you think Collision's going to be like. And honestly, we know there's something else going on, and I might make a video on that. But either way, Collision is not one to miss. I'll say that.